Metal Mike Deleon. I'm pretty sure I said your last name correctly. What's going on, dude? It's nice to see you again, my friend. Thank you for coming on and hanging out with me, man. I appreciate it.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Adam? Absolutely. Thank you all the way from Texas for having me on today. I am super happy and delighted to be here, man, and ready to talk some rock and roll with you, brother.
Yeah, man, and horror movies too, man. Because I'm going to ask you some horror movie questions as well. But
Yes.
anyway, the last time I saw you was with his Soulfly Nailbomb and Snot tour. That tour was fucking amazing, man. And obviously, I was at the meet and greet. I got to meet you and stuff. Um, that was a wild night, man. That was such a fun night, and I kept running into people that I haven't seen in years. It was so good.
Yes, that was the Sydney show, correct?
Yeah, that was the one.
Yes, that was an amazing concert right there. A wild one. We did five. I remember five shows in Australia on the run, and I remember Sydney was definitely one for the books, man. Australia as a whole was a very awesome welcoming. I hadn't been to that part of the world personally in about 6 or 7 years when I was last there with the illegals. So to come back
Yes.
with Soulfly and get to jam in on that continent again was a dream come true. And everybody I met and got to interact with, whether it been the meet and greets, the shows, or at the airport, everybody was just super awesome. The vibe was very welcoming. It was real. Everybody was real cool, and the shows were awesome. Nail Bomb was crushing. It was great to
Yeah.
see Snot. And yeah, back to Nail Bomb. It was like their first shows ever in that part of the world. So, it was like a debut show each night. It was their first time in each city. So it was very special to to be there for that, and for Soulfly to get to come out and present our newer, brand new material from the Chama album in Australia.
Fucking
It was
amazing album, dude.
Thank you so much, man. My first with the band, so very proud of it. And Australia was awesome. The weather was perfect the whole time we were there. It was like perfect weather. Actually, here in Texas, while I was there, it was the total opposite. It was just like super cold, super snowy, just crazy. So I was loving it and living it up over there with you guys in Australia, man. So awesome times.
I think you came down here at the right time when it was like 40 plus degrees.
Yeah, it was like right during summer, and a bunch of my friends were asking me how was the weather, and I'm like, man, it was shorts and a shirt, man. We were just out and about, just enjoying it and soaking it all in, and trying to see the sights. Each city we were trying to get out there and get involved, with the each city, man. So it was real cool.
That is awesome, man. Um, Going back what you were saying about Nailbomb being like the first show uh, here in Australia and stuff like that. When you were saying that Max Cavalera's band, because it just came into my head, the Killer Be Killed band super group that he had. Um, Killer band. Their first show was here in Australia as well.
Oh wow, I didn't know that their first few shows were in Australia. That was definitely another one of his more super group bands. It had so many cool dudes in that band from so many good bands. So yeah, that was a really good album that they put out, and hopefully one day we'll get to hear some more new Killer Be Killed one day, man.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It killer lineup. The singer from Dillinger Escape Plan, the vocalist Greg, the bassist from Mastodon as well. I can't remember who played drums, but other than that, they're a sick band. I missed out, but I've seen clips. It's on YouTube if you go and look for it. But what's like what was like what are your favorite parts of like coming down to Australia when you were down here? Like what are like some of your favorite highlights coming down?
Well, all right. I'm gonna talk a cool little story, just a little quick little story that was definitely a highlight of Australia. Me and Chase, the bass player for Soulfly, while we were in Sydney, we walked from the hotel to the opera house, and it was just a very cool special walk. We didn't take the Uber, or we didn't get any, you know, any rides. We just walked it, and we got to see the city, but we also got to see the botanical gardens that were like
Yeah,
right around the Sydney area, which were absolutely insane. And then as we walked up to the opera house, there was this little food truck that was selling, I think it was slushies. So we were like,
yeah,
dude, it was like perfect weather. Let's grab some slushies and let's go just walk up to the opera house. And it was just real cool, you know. We were just so far away from home, yet we were enjoying a couple of slushies on a day, and we were at the opera house in Sydney, you know, Australia. So that was a really cool little highlight of being there. And you know, a lot of the other highlights, let's talk about the meet and greets. Like each show had each meet and greet, and that was a highlight all on its own. It was really cool to get to meet everybody, you know, and get to a little one-on-one action with, you know, with everyone. And you know, so each city had its own vibe, you know. Everybody was kind of doing their thing in, you know, each night. So that was really really cool, you know. And I wasn't really expecting us to do a meet and greet every night, so it was kind of a surprise, but it was a really good one, and really cool to get to meet everybody. And I guess the last highlight would be man, there was so many good times. I guess let's talk about the two festivals, the Froth and
yeah.
Fury Fest, man. That was definitely a highlight of getting, you know, getting back out there and getting to jam with so many great bands in one day, and then getting to do it again a week later with so many great bands in another city. So I think it was Perth and Adelaide, and they were a couple of really awesome shows. And I got to see my friends from the crew behind the scenes, who I got to meet last time. So shout out to my bros, Dicey and Brad, and the crew for everything. It was really cool to get back, and you know, it was a good time out in Australia.
Yeah.
So many more highlights, man.
Just gotta write it down in the journal, dude. Maybe write it
Y-
in the book.
Yeah, you know, one day for sure.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like that was like well planned, that whole tour. I wasn't expecting the whole three band meet and greet at Sydney because like for what we paid for the meet and greet for the Sydney one, I thought it was worth it, dude. Like to have all three bands to do a meet and greet plus the ticket to the show, early entry as well. Like you can't go wrong with that, man. Like it was just it was just yeah, fucking probably like one of the best. I know we're in early in the new year right now, but I think by far this is like probably the best concert I've been to this year.
Awesome, man. And to hear that feedback from you, just that's reassuring, and makes me happy to hear that you were pleased with the, you know, with what you got for your, you know, for a bang for your buck, man, you know, as they say. So, you know, I'm really glad, you know, everything worked out. And another thing about the early entry, and I'm a big merch guy, as you can see.
Same, me
You
too.
know, I love getting in early and getting my way to the merch table, man, and kind of getting to scope out. You know, you're in the building for your favorite band, or you know, and you want to pick up a T-shirt and support the band. So you know, it's really cool when you can get a little early entry and kind of just go scope the merch section, man.
I think maybe like later on in the year, I might have to get you back on and talk about our favorite merch shirts.
Oh man, I have an insane collection, and we could totally talk about some merch, man. I got some really special ones sprinkled in here that mean a lot to me, and some that came from some crazy places. So yeah,
Yeah.
one day, one day we can we could do that.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, dude. Like, I'm a big merch guy as well. I have like two big boxes full of like old band shirts from bands that I gone and see all over the years as well. And it's to me now they're just collector's items. You know,
Yeah.
even though they
Yep.
don't fit me, they're a little bit worn out, but they're all collector's items, man.
Definitely. And for me, while we're on the merch subject, I got my little sons, and my little sons are rockers, man. And
Hell
you
yeah,
know, as as we do, we pass things along. So it's only gonna go from, one home to the, one closet to the other closet, so it's cool like that. And hopefully the tradition can keep going, but it'll go to them, one day. And that's where I would like for it to go.
yeah, man, yeah. So my next question is like, obviously you played on the Soulfly album Chama, which is fucking amazing. I've been playing the shit of that out. I've been playing the shit out of that album on my morning walks, gym, work, to annoy my fucking fellow chefs in the kitchen. And yeah, but it's such an amazing album, dude. Like, tell us a little bit, maybe tell us a bit about like the backstory about like that how that album and how you got involved with that.
All right. Well, this would be going on my third or fourth year now, jamming with Soulfly, and we had just got done doing a U.S. tour um, in November of 2024. So it's been about a month, and I mean a year and about some odd months since the end of that tour, and that was in November of 24. Well, in December of 2024, I got the phone call. It was just like a few weeks. I had just gotten home, and I got a call saying, "Hey, we're going to be recording the new album. We would love for you to come out and record with the band." And I was like super happy to be able to be involved in the making of the brand new Soulfly album. We already had done a few tours, a few years of tours together, and we were so locked in. And the vibe between all of us are always cool. We love each other, so, a bunch, and we just have fun around each other. So when I got the call to come out and to be a part of the writing process for a Soulfly album, I mean, I'm telling you, the kid in me was going nuts, man. I was like, all right, like a lot of weight on the shoulders. This is a big deal. So I was able to come out to Phoenix, and we got in a room, and for the most part it was me, Max, and Z, the Zion, Max's son, the drummer. And we had a studio out. Well, they had a studio out in the Phoenix area that they were recording at, and we would go and like write in the morning. We would or right in the afternoon we would start writing these songs, and Max would have these riffs that he had compiled, and it was just real cool to hear all these riffs because he's just the riff master, man. So it was real
Yeah,
cool to hear, even the ones that we know that weren't used. It was just cool to hear that flow of music, from his heart, man, that he had, tracked. And then I had a whole bunch of ideas that I had stacked. I always have riffs, and I'm always tracking stuff all the time as well. So it was real cool to go out there and bring all that to life. And Z was on the we were all putting our 2 cents in, and it was a really cool band vibe. It was a band vibe. And we would record at night and write during the day. So it was writing, and then at night we would go in and we would record these songs. And excuse me, like 8 or 9 months went by from the recording, and I remember being like, I can't wait to hear what those songs sounded like, the update, and a little bit more polished. And in the end, Chama came together, and I know Dino got in, and right after I was there, he went in for a day or so, and they tracked a song together. So he's on one song on the album, and it's a great tune, and they did a video for it, and overall, I think for being album number 13, which I'm calling lucky 13, man, it's a
Yeah,
big deal. I think it's a great album. My son Iomi, he's 9, but he's always jamming the album. It's his
good
go-to
on him.
album. He likes it a lot, and it makes me happy knowing that he's digging it. If anybody's digging it, I'm glad my son is jamming it, and it just makes me happy, and it's part of the tribe, and stoked to be a part of it, and moving forward, just looking forward to continuing working with Soulfly and keeping those cool old school vibes rolling, man,
Yeah.
and keep moving ahead. And on to this, gwar tour we're getting ready to do, and getting ready to play some of these songs live, so it'll be cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome that your son's actually like playing the shit out of that album, man. Good on him, man. Good on him, man. Like, I I love that album so much because like it kind of goes back into that old school Soulfly phase, man. Like the first 2 or 3 albums or so. Even though Primitive was like the first album that got me into Soulfly, I just love it, dude. I love the last song, Shama, and I always play that song at work. And the chorus is, "Oh yeah, Shama." So my kitchen hand will get the shits with me. So when she's in the dishes, I'll be from behind, like, "Oh yeah, Shama." She goes, "What the fuck?"
That's cool to hear, man. Um,
Yeah,
Real quick, at the Sydney show you were at, we played Shama live,
yeah,
didn't we? Yes.
yeah.
Okay,
Fucking
cool.
great.
Because we were playing that one on the tour, so I hope you got to hear that song live, man. That's great.
It was awesome, dude. Like the newer songs that you guys put on the set list. Also, all of the songs in that set list fucking sounded great. But like to hear Shama, I'm just like, okay, that's my night now.
Awesome, man. Real quick again, I remember, while my mind is there, the writing of that song, like when I hear that song, and then like I said, when my kiddo plays that certain song, it takes me to that time when we were in that room, and we were writing the song, and where we were at, and where our minds were at when it came to the end of the song, and the playing,
Mm,
and the experimenting we were kind of doing, what we were really doing. It came out very well, and besides the album, that particular song is something that I myself am just very very proud of, and I know the guys are as well, man. It's a cool one.
that's awesome, dude. Do you have a favorite song of the album?
Man, I would probably say the tune, and we've been jamming it. It's the song "Favela Dystopia," and
Yeah, that was good live too.
I like that song because we play it live, but it was one of the first tunes that I remember we worked on, and it's just a ripper. It's just a ripping song. It has a little bit of everything in a Soulfly song. It has the faster, it has the groovy, it has the pissed off Max, man. It's great.
Yeah,
So, that's probably one of my favorite tunes off the album. The whole thing's I love it all, but that's one of my faves for sure.
yeah. I think for me, obviously, Shama is like one of my favorite songs on that album, but I like Storm the Gates. Very, very like tribalish, like traditional tribal soulfly too, man. And the riff is just amazing. Like I'm a guitar player, so I've been trying to learn that riff as well. But the riff and the like that breakdown part, yeah, kind of makes me want to throw a chair outside the window.
Yeah. That's a groovy, bouncy riff, man. I love it. It just gets you just jamming and and just enjoying the tune. You know what I mean? Right out the bat.
Oh yeah,
It's a cool song, man. I like that one.
yeah. So I want to ask you some guitar stuff. So you played guitar at a young age, correct? Like, because you picked up a guitar at age 3.
Age 3. Yep, that's correct,
Wow,
man.
man,
Yeah,
that's
age
awesome.
3. Yep, picked up my first acoustic guitar that was just, my dad had, and have never put the guitar down since, man. I've just been glued to the instrument. I've played a lot of instruments in my day. I love to experiment with odds and ends. I was a percussionist and, in school for a long time, so I got a lot of rhythm down. But the guitar was just always been my first love with the instrument, man. So, I've never put it down, man. Still
Yeah, that's
jamming.
awesome. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I started at age 12 and still jamming. I'm 40 now and I'm still riffing out and stuff like that, dude.
Awesome. That's great, man. I tell, all the younger guys, I'm like, man, have fun and enjoy it, and jam, just jam, man. Get into it.
Yeah, man. Well, just write riffs
Yeah. That's a
and see
good
where
thing
you
to
go.
do.
I'm always writing riffs, man, just for fun. Like whatever comes in my head and stuff like that. Like I'll just come up with something cool and shit, man. What was your first guitar?
Oh man, good question. I still have the guitar. I honestly don't even know the actual brand. It was like a offshoot brand, but it was a
Yeah,
Fender, like a Telecaster. It was just like a Fender Telecaster body neck. It had these old school pickups. It was just an old school l- style guitar, and I remember my dad got it at the age of 8. That was my first like electric guitar, and no
yeah.
one's ever asked me about that right there. That's really cool to
Oh,
kind
really?
of stir up. Yeah, yeah, no one's ever asked me about my first like guitar like that, and I was 8 years old, and I remember getting this guitar at a pawn shop, and I still have it in my vault, and it could use a little bit of love today, but it's still there, and it was just like this offshoot brand, a white and black guitar that was just kind of a Fender body, and I
Yeah.
loved it. You know what I mean? I loved the strings. I loved picking and plucking at it, and then from there it's just been many, many guitars, but that I remember that was my first one, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think mine was I think it was a nylon acoustic. But then when I was old enough to get a job and stuff like that, I bought like a knockoff, like cheap Strat.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't have it anymore. But then over the years, man, like I've just been collecting guitars. Then I stopped because I have no room.
Oh, dude, I know what you mean. Like, they kind of come and go nowadays. You get them, and they go, and you get new ones. But it's just like I have so many. I need some more space. I need some more space, and I just want to get more. I
Mm.
do a lot of traveling, so I see guitars in each city. They're you go to a pawn shop or whatever, and you see this awesome Jackson or a Dean or anything, a old school BC Rich, and you're like,
Fuck yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
you're like, I need that guitar, and next thing you know, you got another guitar that's on the boat traveling with all the rest of the guitars, making it back home. So that's usually
Yeah.
how it goes.
Yeah. I've got I bought a 7 string for my 30th birthday. It's like matte black. And
Nice.
oh dude, I haven't got it here. It's in the living room. Um like when I bought it, the guy was telling me, he goes, "Oh, when the color fades out, it's gonna look fucking sick."
What brand is it?
Ibanez.
Oh, okay, nice, nice, man.
Mm,
I have
yeah.
I have a daughter named Ibanez, man. I named her after the guitar. I just had to
Oh,
throw
that's awesome.
had to throw that out there real quick. Sick Ibanez though, man. The seven string, straight up like old school corn style. You know, they
Yeah.
were jamming those seven string Ibanez's back in the day, man. You know, and so was like Steve Vai and all those old, those cats were jamming those Ibanez's. So that's cool, man.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I played them because of Korn, because Korn's my favorite band. I know your I know Korn's your favorite band as well.
Oh,
And
dude.
I've seen them live like I think twice or something like that. I got Monkey's guitar pick. It's in like in a little box. And yeah, that's how I fell in love with seven strings, man.
Awesome. That's awesome. Korn is definitely one of my favorite bands, man. Last year in June, we got
Yeah.
to open for Korn. I got to play with them a handful of times, but last
Oh,
June
nice.
we got to open for them at a festival in Belgium called Grass Pop Metal Meeting, and that particular day they were the headliner, and we were a little bit earlier in the day, but between sets, I made my way over to their side of the stage, which was like right there, and their guitar tech, Monkey's guitar tech is my bro Jeff, man. Shout out to Jeff. He's a legend. He's worked
Fuck
for
yeah.
so many awesome bands. He also plays in a hardcore metal band called Sworn Enemy.
Oh,
My my bro Jeff, he showed me Monkey's rig, and I got to indulge myself with this rig that was Monkey's rig. I got to see his amps. I got to put on his seven string Ibanez. I have a photo. It's like it was just you know, being a high school kid, jamming Corn, would have never have thought just getting a tour of the guy's gear and seeing his whammy pedal. I'm like, dude, this whammy pedal is like one of the biggest parts of the whole show, this pedal right here, and it was just really cool to get to see that, and like I said, just really get to see the gear side. And I'm a big gear head. I love gear.
same.
I love talking gear. Talk for hours for gear, man.
Yeah,
Guitars.
same here,
You
dude.
know, it's a great subject, and it's a networking subject that a lot of us guys do. We talk about what we use and what we're playing with. So that particular day, I just got to go see Monkey's rig, and it was really cool to get to see the behind the scenes of what the guy is using in his guitars and everything. And then later that night, we got some side stage passes from one of my brothers out there, my bro Cyrus, man. Another shout out real quick. Um, and we got to see them on the stage about 10 feet away from the band as they crushed to like 80,000 people. And again, these are just little moments and little stories in my life that I do not take for granted, man. These are big moments. It might have just been another show or festival or a day, but it's a day that I'll never forget. It was, a day that I got to see Corn from 10, 15 feet away and say hi to everybody and that whole shebang. But being a big fan, those are just big days right there and cool moments in a metalhead's life. But again, seeing the gear, just just blown away by seeing Monkey's gear. Seeing all the gear firsthand was definitely a big highlight of last year, man.
Yeah, I would have been, man. I watch a lot of rig rundowns, so like I'm always like interested in what they use, what string gauge they use, what tunings they use, that type of fucking thing. You know what I mean? I have a gig bag underneath my bed, like full of like pedals that I bought all over the years, which I don't really use anymore. I've started using the positive grid
Okay.
amps, and those are amazing, dude. With all like the built-in effects and like presets and stuff like that. And yeah, my setup is just basically simple, dude. Tuner, whammy pedal, and the drop tuner, and that's it. None.
That's great. I love I like that chain right there, I love it. I'm already like seeing it. Okay, this is what he's using. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll
All
send you a
right.
photo after when we finish today, man. After this recording, I'll send you a photo of it. It's very simple, man. That's all you need.
Perfect. The drop tuner that I mean not the drop tuner, the whammy pedal you're using, which brand is it or which whammy is it?
It's the Ricochet whammy pedal by Digitech Tech. It's
Okay.
the mini one. They go hard, man, because you can actually use it as a whammy pedal or whammy bar, so you can have like different settings and stuff like that with it. It's actually really good. Highly
Super
recommend.
cool. Super cool. I use the whammy pedal for on my pedal board as well, and I have a Digitech, you know, and again, I love this gear talk. It's great this is great talk, man. I love it's fun. But my whammy pedal is gonna be the old school Digitech whammy, where on one side it's the whammy, and then on the other side
Oh
it's the
yeah,
drop. You know, so
yeah,
if I got to drop or if I got to go higher or anything with the tuning, it has, you know, on either side, and I use both with the tunings with Soulfly. We are in B standard. So for anybody
yeah,
wondering, we are in B standard, which is E standard, 6 string down, and I use a 7 string, so the seventh would be the B, and some songs we'll do an A. So you know, rather than have my backup in A, I keep my two guitars in B, and then I'll drop with the whammy pedal. I'll hit the drop side and just bring it down a step, and it'll come out A through the speakers, but I'll still be in B on my guitar,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it you know it you can't tell a difference, and I'm only a step down. I'm not like going a bunch of steps or anything, and it it rules. And then on the other side, I got the whammy, man. So if I, you know, on certain, you know, songs, you know, we'll play around with the whammy pedal too. So it's you know, a big thing. And again, Korn is a huge influence when it comes to stuff like that. You know, they were always, you know, some of the leaders when it came to that cool stuff.
Well, Monkey uses it so well in his songs with Korn, man. Like you could definitely hear it, and I love his guitar playing style. But I'm also big in pickups as well. I've invested in some EMG pickups. Um, I've put EMG pickups on my Schecter, my Les Paul that you've seen behind me, and my Eclipse, and I love them so much, man.
Which EMGs are you using?
The Zach Wild AMG 8185s for the Eclipse and the Les Paul, and for my Schecter, I'm using the Jim Root signature models.
Nice, nice. Like I
Yeah,
said, that's great. I have a I have one of my Deans, and I have the James Hetfield. There it is. Look at that. Perfect.
yeah,
Looks that looks like it's nice and set up very well.
yeah, yeah. The
But
action's not too high, not too low. It's just perfect, and boom, Epiphone Gibson headstock.
yep, that's nice, man. Nice finish as well on the guitar.
Yeah, it's worn out a bit. I've had this for a good 7 or 8 years, but I've been playing it a lot. It's in like E flat. I don't really
Okay,
play in standard anymore. I just play E flat stuff. But
perfect.
sounds cool, dude. Fucking love
The
this guitar.
the how heavy is it?
It's not that heavy
Perfect.
compared
That's
to
always
compared to my other Les Paul that I have. I got a Sunburst Les Paul. That was like my first one that I've retired. That's heavy as fuck.
I believe it. Like that's always a question. How heavy is the Les
Yeah,
Paul? Because it could go either way. You know, I have a Les Paul. I have one Les Paul in my with in all my guitars, and it's a studio, a custom studio, and it's a beautiful guitar. But it's a little on the heavier end, and I only sit with it and, you know, play when I'm recording some stuff, and you know, bust it out when I want to, you know, play a nice little solo or something. But I love the, you know, the Epiphones. I love the Gibsons. You know, the very nice guitar, and it's almost a must. You know, every guitar player should have at least one, or, you know, to play with. You know, and just mess around with. They're nice guitars.
oh, 100%, dude. And my first real guitar though was a Fender Stratocaster. made from Mexico.
All right, right on. I bet you it's a nice guitar.
Yeah, yeah, I've had that one for a good 9, maybe 10 years, 11, maybe 12 years or so. Um, Amazing, just basic Mexican Strat, dude. Fender, because I'm a big Jimi Hendrix and John Five guy. So that's the reason why I play Fenders as well. But then I just put in the Damasio Hot Rail pickups because of Iron Maiden. So there you go.
That that rules. That rules. I bet you. I mean, plugging into different amps, they all get a little, a little different tone out of this and out of that. But I bet you those strats sound nice. And again, you're talking about John Five and Jimi Hendrix. You know, almost from the same vein, almost with those strats. Like
Yeah,
yeah, look, the styles, John Five's on a whole shred level, but they kind of almost have the same, they come from the same place or something, man, in their styles and playing and their guitar of choice.
yeah. So my next question for you, to stay on the guitar side of things, who are like maybe some of your biggest influences as a guitar player?
All right, great question, man. Here I'll give you some of my personal.
We can bounce
in
back.
Yes, yes. Okay. My number one, and a lot of people. Well, I remember Max tripping on this, but one of my favorite guitar players, the guy I first started with when I was a kid, I was just like drawn to this dude's playing, and I still love it. Underrated guitar player is CC DeVille from
Oh
the
yeah,
band Poison. I
yes,
love, I love Poison, man, and
yeah.
he had a very cool, note, his choice of notes, man. He was real cool with his playing, and he's a shredder too. So CC was a big one for me. And then Stevie Ray Vaughan from Texas, another great guitar player, man. Awesome shredder, blues player. Um, let's talk about. I'm just gonna go down a list. Joe Perry, Aerosmith, Carlos
Yeah.
Santana, Eddie Van Halen, Dimebag Daryl.
That's the reason why
Um,
you play Deans, correct?
yes, yes. Like I got through. I got hooked up with Deans when I was doing the illegals, and we were doing all the Pantera stuff. We were
Okay.
delving. We were delving into the Pantera side of things, and got connected with Dean, and been rocking with them ever since, man. And it's been great. And then the last couple of years, I've been getting a couple of custom guitars built from a friend of mine in the Louisiana area, and I've been rocking those as well, man. And they're still in the Dean style and vein, but they're a little bit more hands-on and custom through another buddy of mine.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, that's I'd never seen a Dean 7 string before. That's all. That's why I thought bring it up and stuff like that.
Yeah, one of my main guitars is a Dean 7 string, and I use it for one of my other bands, one of my bands here in the area. We are a death metal band, but I use my 7 string Dean for that band, and I'm actually probably gonna bust out this guitar on the Soulfly run. I'm gonna take it for rehearsal, and then probably take it on the run as well. So I'll have a 7 string Dean on a couple of them on tour.
Nice, man. Well, like I think you just like gave out like a solid fucking good list of like guitar like idols. Like, man, I could like probably go with that as well because my dad's a rocker, so I grew up listening to Kiss, Alice Cooper, Poison, Motley Crue. Um, when I got into Metallica, my brother, who is older than me, he got into Megadeth, so we used to have wars against each other about that shit. Um, yeah, but dude, my heroes were Ace Frehley, man. That's the reason why I play Les Pauls. Ace Frehley, dude, like, and I wanted to be him as a kid. 12 years
Y-
old, boom. Everybody wanted to be Ace Frehley. There's only one
Every
Ace Frehley out there.
Yep, everybody wanted to be Ace, and it was you know a gigantic part of a lot of our lives was Ace Frehley. Like love them, or some people don't like Kiss, but Kiss was there. They were always there, and shoving those guitars down your face. And Ace Frehley was the man. He was ahead of his time, with his style and his playing, and his showmanship. He was a definitely a great guitar player and a leader for many guitar players.
Yeah, man. Um, Ace really was one of them, and then I would have to go like people like Mick Mars. Mick Mars written some really good riffs for Motley Crue. You know, even some of his the solo album that he brought out like 2 years ago was a great album too, man. Mick Mars is one up there. John Five Slash, obviously, but then to go to like the classic rock style of guitar playing, Richie Blackmore. I grew up listening to
Ooh.
Rainbow as a teenager. Um, yeah, my dad got me into Rainbow Rising, man. As you can see, my dad brought me up well.
That's awesome, man. We could let's keep going. Okay, some more shredder guitar players that were big influences, and we're gonna keep going with more bands. Is like KK Downing and Glenn
Yeah,
Tipton, the duo from Judas Priest, just shredding, but also bringing melody and riffs. I mean, riffs. You're talking about head banging riffs. You just want to just jam,
yeah,
and then
man.
and then like classic rock players. We're gonna go off the beaten path, and I'm gonna talk about a big influence on me. And
But before
when
you
I,
go on that, sorry, dude. I was gonna say with the Judas Priest stuff, the sweep picking on Painkiller. Holy shit!
dude, like almost impossible to play if you're gonna nail that, like it's crazy, crazy
Yeah,
playing.
and
But I
his
was
his
like,
high pitched voice too, like Rob Halford's high pitched voice for Painkiller, and he
oh,
still does
dude,
that now.
yep, for sure, man. And Judas Priest has been one of my faves. Them, and for me, another great band, Scorpions, and I'm talking about
Yeah,
more just like, I mean, riffs and melody and just soul, like players, man, like great players. And one more, or a few more that I'll list. Like I said, one more off the beaten path. And this guy is an amazing player. And I think he gets overlooked because he's not a metal player. But is David Gilmour from
yeah,
Pink Floyd. I mean, dude, he would shred, but like slow and like not necessarily fast, but he would give you like these solos that would last forever, with deep meaning and feel, man. So, there's so many great guitar players. Angus Young, fuck, you know what I mean? And you know, on and on, man. There's so many great players, but I like how the guys you brought up, nothing but respect for all those cats, man.
yeah. Like I said, like my dad like listened to that type of stuff. So when I was younger, it was always around. My mom, not so much. She'd be always like, "You always," he's like, "You remind me of your dad." I'm like, "Awesome!" Like, come on, man.
Yep, yep. Same way. My mom was kind of not really into it, but my dad was same way, rocking and
Yeah,
jamming all the good tunes. One more guy I'll bring up real quick, guy that needs no introduction. The legendary Dave Mustaine from Megadeth,
yes,
man. I'm talking about like mad respect for that cat and the plan. I could go on and on and on. All the Bay Area dudes, so many of them. Gary Holt, Rick
Alex Skolnick.
Hamote, Alex Skolnick, all those cats. My bro Craig from Forbidden. Dude, just shredder. I've been watching Forbidden the last couple of shows here in the US, and those cats are shredding. But back to Dave Mustaine real quick. Dude wrote the riffs, man. The open E shred, diggy 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 diggy. I mean, it's the sickest, man, and you know what I mean. And he was doing it. And James Hetfield and all those guys too. but Dave just had that edge, that fucking edge, man. And he was pissed. He was, he was just, he just had that feel and that edge, man. So, so many great guitar players, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's we can go on for hours about that, man. But like Alex Skolnick was like one of them up there for me as well because I saw Testament live recently. I think it was last year. I saw them when the last time when they came to Australia. This is before when the new album came out, and I was on where Alex is playing, and normally I just like fucking look at the pedals and see what they're playing. I'm like, ah, oh, fuck, I'm playing this wrong. But that I swear that guy is like the most cleanest player in metal. Him and Jim Root.
Dude, for real, Alex, you, like, when you go see cats like that, you always say, these dudes are putting on a clinic. Well, you know why? Because they are, you know what I mean? They're there showing you how it's done, and like you say, it's clean and it's always that way with, Testament, man. Such a great band. But Eric and Alex, man, he brings that jazzy approach to his style solos, man, and it's it's different from from other bands and whatnot. But he's such a great guitar player for sure, man. And Jim Root, fuck,
Yeah,
another
to
great,
me the
another
yeah
good, yeah, hey, him and Mick, man, another couple of dudes, man, just bringing riffs, and really cool shreds and solos. What you
yeah.
got there?
That's the Schecter, and that's a Jim Root signature EMGs.
How do those sound? You like them?
I like them, dude, especially for like the drop B and drop A tunings. Um,
Okay,
that sounds great, dude. I do like the Zach Wild ones a bit better because with Zach Wild's pickups, you can play pretty much everything on them. I think that's like how that's the design that he wanted for. But yeah, with these, it's actually good for like drop B or D standard and stuff like that, especially for the
okay.
chugs and that. But yeah, it's my Schecter.
Six string,
Fuck
nice,
yeah, yeah, dude.
nice, man. I've been jamming on one of my Dean guitars right here in my closet. I got a boat, and then I just have a bunch of
Fuck yeah,
guitars, and I've been jamming on my Dean Stealth, like it's the Dimebag Stealth, and it's in E standard, and I've been writing like riffs on it, and it's what I think I'm gonna do is write riffs in E, and then like go play them on a different tuning, maybe like in B or in C, and just kind of see how they differ. Same riff, but try to change the tuning up on the riff and see if see what happens. But it's cool. I've been writing riffs in E standard, and it's like it's such a higher pitched sound. It's so weird, but it's cool. It's old school, but I'm gonna take them and probably do them in a different tuning at some point. These
yeah.
little tracks I've been tracking, yeah.
Isn't it like the the whole E standard thing? Isn't it like funny that like how that's how like the sound of thrash metal came from? Is like E standard.
It's crazy to think about it because you go listen to like he- Live Undead or Hell Awaits, those, first few Slayer or Megadeth albums, Metallica, all that is in E. And then you start hearing E flat, Exodus, E flat, but they were always in that there. They were always there. And yeah, it's crazy. Now a lot of bands are, C or wherever or A, B, but, D, but yeah, like you said, a lot of bands were starting, at E, man, E standard.
Yeah, I believe Sepultura started off in E back in the early '80s.
Yep. And when they play today, when Max plays with Cavalera today with Igor, they are playing in that tuning. They Max Max wants to do it for real, so it's cool, man.
Good on
It's
him.
yeah, like I see Kenny because I be working when I'm not playing, I'm teching as well. So I play with Soulfly, but tech for Cavalera, and my brother Travis is the guitar player with Max up there, and I'm tuning his guitars for him, getting them ready, and they're in E, they're in E flat, they're in D, they're keeping it true to the original recording, so it's real cool, man.
No, that's awesome. And to have Igor, his son, on bass as well for Cavalera,
Yep.
that would have been awesome too, just to see. It's almost like a family affair with that Cavalera family, right? To me, they're like the metal versions of the Partridge Family.
It it Max would probably agree with you. He'd probably be like, "Yes, we are." You know, the it totally is, man, and I am absolutely honored to be, a part of a small part in the whole tribe, man. And as they say, it's a tribe. It totally is.
I
We
totally agree.
it and it's not just, the band and the family, it's the world, everybody that, you know we're all the tribe, you're part of it, I'm part of it, we're all the tribe together. It's the fan base, but it's also us metalheads in general. It's real cool. It means a lot. And but within our camp, we're a real tight, knit family. We all get along really well, and we all, love one another, and we love jamming all together, and it's a really easy going. We all are there for the same reason, and that's to kick some ass and have some fun, man. So it's great. It's a good spot to be, man.
Being a part in that Soulfly tribe, especially in the meet and greet as well. That's what I like to call it. Like when we all the band members are in, it's called the Soulfly tribe. I feel special about that because like Soulfly. That was the first time seeing Soulfly, and Soulfly uh, got me through a lot of down shit in high school, man. Because I used to get bullied a lot because of my heritage and shit like that, and I wasn't like the smart kid or anything. So Soulfly and Metallica for me, man. And I saw Metallica live for the first time, so that was special for me. So like probably in a few months' time, and during like when we hit winter or something like that, probably get like the Soulfly logo and with the name and the date when I saw them, and saying to do the same thing with Metallica, because that those two bands mean a lot to me growing up.
Man, honestly, hearing that, Adam, it means a lot to me, because if the band means a lot to you, then that means a lot to me, because this band means a lot to me. And I'm just very happy just to be, like I said, just a part of the history of Soulfly. I was the same way like you, just
Yeah,
a metal. I'm still just a metalhead fan.
same.
I like, I like to get out there and get involved with, shows and metal, man. But growing up, Soulfly, Sepultura was just, a big part of a lot of our lives. So fast forward to be standing there with a guitar around my neck, and to be jamming with Max, and he has a guitar. It's like, it's super cool. We're there together, and we're riffing and we're jamming and we're locking in as a band, so it's really cool, man. So hopefully we get to come out and jam for you sometime, and then in the next couple of years again, man. That'll be great.
Fingers crossed, dude, because I was like probably like I said to you before when we hit the record button. Yeah, it was probably like one of the best nights of my life. Like
Awesome,
it was
man.
just so good, man.
I'm glad you got to meet everybody too. That's just a little cherry on the top. You got to say hi to all the guys, and say hello to Max, and the Snot
Mm.
guys were hanging. So that's super cool.
Yeah, that
Everybody was
was that
there.
was a bonus as well. And I've never heard of them, and I really love their music now. So there you go. But then also like got to meet like Igor in person because I had him on my podcast 2 months ago or so, last month or
Okay.
whatever it is, around December. And meeting him in person was really cool because like chatting to him was just like a dude, just a friend, just hanging out, just like you and I right now, just like chilling, just talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was so cool. I gave him some of my merch, to him. That's just to say thank you for coming on. And so I said to him, like, dude, I got a shirt, a hat in there, and some stickers. So if anyone like falls asleep on the plane or bus, I'll slap it on their forehead.
Yeah. Dude, Igor, man, that's a whole. We could talk about him and how awesome he is, man. I have a lot of love for. I call him, and we all have different little nicknames, but I call him Lil Igor because there's Big Igor and Lil
Yeah,
Igor, and you know. I talked to him yesterday actually, and it was just like a video. I was like, "Hey man, I hope you have a great day. Love you, brother." Just one of those just checking in kind of things. And that's what a lot of us
yeah,
do. You know, we all check in on each other all the time. But it was kind of like, I hope you have a good day, man. And he rules, and he's just like you said, just like talking to you, man. He's just one of another awesome metalhead cat that just wants to jam, man.
so I got a couple more questions before we finish up. Really, again, appreciate you for doing this. This is been fun just hanging out. When I do these interviews, I just like it to have a hangout type of thing, man. Just like if two dudes just chilling at the fucking, I don't know, slushy bar or something.
Yes, just chit chatting.
Fuck yeah. So what's it like playing alongside with Phil, Anselmo, and Max? Because the first time when I saw Phil, you were in that band too, and you were playing at Frankie's, and that was a fucking wild night.
Oh man, I still talk about the Frankie show, man. And I honestly
Yeah.
was really bummed out when I heard about Frankie's is no longer there. I heard about that
Mm.
while I was in Australia. Someone said Frankie's isn't around anymore, it closed down. So
Yeah,
to have
I think it was me that I messaged. Yeah, because I remember messaging you and like they meant to be weird, but didn't you play for Phil and Somo? Because
yeah,
I was there
yep,
at that gig.
yep,
Yeah.
and I was, so happy to have been there that night. It was a very special night that night. It was a free show on a Monday, Metal Monday night. It was great, man.
Yeah, dude.
You
With King
know,
Parrot. Fuck yeah.
yep, with us and King Parrot, man, a crazy, crazy in your face show. But to the question, how was it jamming with Philip, and then how was it jamming with Max? Man, to keep it as humble and honest as possible, man, it's an honor. It's an absolute
Yeah.
honor. You know, I talk to Philip all the time. We still text each other all the time and just check in, and we laugh all the time. And he's busy doing his thing. He's jamming. I'm busy doing my thing. I'm jamming. So, you know, maybe one day we'll get back together and jam one day, but right now everybody's at a great place. I'm jamming with Max now. What a trip. What a trip. Uh, just
Yeah.
being growing up as a Texas metalhead, Pantera was plastered on the walls. Dimebag holding the guitar. That's who I wanted to be. When I went to concerts growing up, seeing Pantera as a kid, I wanted to be jamming on that stage. Like fuck, this is awesome. I wanted, those were the dreams. The dreams of a young metalhead. So, to be able to be up there with Philip was an absolute dream come true. To call him my friend and my brother, and, like to laugh and joke with Phil, man, is all the time, is a trip. But like I said, I am honored, and I love these guys, man, like big brothers, man. They're big inspirations to me, but they're also my friends, and
Mm.
it's I have a lot of love for these guys and insane respect for their illustrious careers that they have these legendary dudes, man. It's just been an honor to strap on a guitar and crush some Pantera with Philip, and to crush some Soulfly and make everybody jump and bounce with Max. It's a trip, man, and I'm honored to have been on a recording with both guys. I recorded a Phil album with Phil, and now I'm on an album with Max. It's a dream. It's a metal dream come true. And like I said, I appreciate every single day. And don't just just a metalhead, like a fan, like all of us. Just very fortunate and lucky to be there jamming with these guys, man, and a lot of love for both of them, and nothing but the biggest amounts of respect for both legends in the metal world, man.
Yeah, I still remember that night, dude. It was wild. I was actually on the tables fucking headbanging.
Nice, nice. That trying to walk through that crowd that night,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. The photographer was getting the shits with somebody because like he was standing on the booth and the guy headbanging next to me was standing next to the booth. So the photographer was trying to push him away.
I'm
Like, dude, it's a
sure
fucking metal concert.
I still have my long sleeve hanging up over here, put up away of the Frankies long sleeve. I still have my shirt from the venue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Fuck
that
yeah.
yeah, and then I have another shirt up here somewhere from a place from Australia that's dedicated to Slayer. That's a curry restaurant. That my Toddy,
Okay.
yeah, that Toddy from King Parrot gave me. He's like, there's a spot here that's dedicated to Slayer, but all they serve is curry food, and it's like a Slayer tribute logo on a yellow shirt. It's like it's super cool. But I do have my Frankie shirt from Frankie's. I'll never let it go, man. It's like I said, it's one of the ones that's just like it has its story and it means something, and so definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I still got the Phil Anselmo and Phil Anselmo and the Illegals tour tour shirt tucked away in the box in my wardrobe and stuff like that from that night. So it doesn't fit me anymore, but like it's there as memories. So when I'm just going through shit and I see that, I'm like, that's where I saw Phil Anselmo. Life
Yep,
completed.
super cool.
Yeah. All right, man. So I got two more questions to ask you. So let's get down to some horror stuff. This is a horror podcast as well. So what was like the first horror movie you watched, and how old were you when you first watched it
Woo, great
or seen it?
question. Okay. The first horror movie I remember watching is also my favorite horror movie of all time, and I'm so happy to talk about this because I never talk
Yeah.
about horror movies. But my first horror movie, my favorite one of all time, and I remember my dad showing me this at a very young age. I was probably 5 or 6. Let's go with that. 5 or 6. He popped on this movie called The Return of the Living Dead. And
Oh yeah.
it's like these punks going into like the cemetery, the zombies coming to life, everything just goes bad. And I love this movie. You know what? I would probably get a Return of the Living Dead tattoo while I'm thinking about it. But that was my first horror movie I remember watching, and like I said, to this day, it's still my number one, and I could talk forever about this movie and how much it means to me and where I was at in my life. But I remember watching that as a youngster, and so many of them, not really necessarily a horror movie, and I'm not sure if this movie gets talked about on your podcast, but I remember
Mm.
being like 8 years old and my dad renting this movie, kind of like a horror, called Scarface. And and I remember like just being horrified just by all the killing and you know the craziness that was going on in that great movie that is Scarface. And like I said, it's not necessarily a horror movie, but I remember being young and I remember that impacting me in a way that I'll like never forget. I'll never forget that movie, being young and like, whoa, maybe too young to be watching this, 30 years ago now, but it was just like it was, it was a different time, and man, that movie was something else.
Fuck yeah, man. That's a great start to get into horror.
Yes.
At that age, man. Yeah, like what I was saying to Igor when I had him on. It's like once you hook into horror, you're stuck with it for life. It's sort of like discovering your favorite band. You hear one song, you want to see more or hear more, then you're stuck with it forever. So there we go, man. So let's finish off. Since you are the guitar player for Soulfly, What is your top 5 Soulfly riffs?
Ooh, all right. Good question. No one's ever asked me this. Okay, we'll go with number 5 and work our way down. All right. Lately, because this could always change with the mood. But lately, we've been jamming this old school song from the second album, and the song is called "Bring It," and it's just boom, boom,
Oh,
that riff. That'll be number 5. That riff just gets everybody jumping. You know that tune. You're gonna move your head to that, man. Number 5, we'll go to "Bring It." Number 4. Let's go off the new album and let's go with the Dino song because I love this song, and that's going to be No Pain, No Power. We've been crushing this new song on the tour, and it's been one of my favorite songs to play. It's a catchy tune, and it's a total Dino riff, and he's been, guitar players. Dino is honestly. Very very up there, as an influence because his right hand is so precise and tight. He's been a big influence on my life, and I've toured with him, a few times, and I told him, I was like, dude, you're playing. I've always been a big fan, man. You're a very great riffer and tight player. So that song that he did with Soulfly, let's put that number 4. Number 3. All right, let's go with the song Prophecy. I love
yes.
playing that's the whole whammy thing, the whammy intro. I love playing that. It's a cool, catchy tune. I get to get involved in the riff. It's a good one to play, and another classic bouncy tune, man. So let's go with number 3. Let's go with Prophecy. And my top 2, I already know what these are because these are fun, classic songs. Number 2 is going to kind of catch you off guard because it's not one that we play every so often. It's a faster Soulfly song, and it's the song Front Lines off the Dark
Oh,
Ages album. And it's a more,
underrated album.
yep, and it's a thrashy tune taken like think Beneath the Remains or Arise. It's just like it's fast and you got to be on your game when you want to play this riff. Great questions, man. I like this. Number 2 being front lines, and number 1, we're going to go old school. And we're going to go with the first Soulfly song off the first album, and that's Eye for an Eye. And
Yes.
I was listening to an interview that Max talked about where he was at when he was writing this riff and what it means to him, and it's a really deep one, and where he was coming from at this time, coming right behind the Sepultura situation, and so Eye for an Eye. It's the last song of our set, usually mostly every single night. We got to jam with Mikey from Snot 1 or 2 times on the Australia run. He came out and jammed with us, which was a great throwback to play with Mikey, who was with the band in the early days, and to come full circle and jam with him to today was great. But let's go with number 1, the classic Eye for an Eye, man.
Nice. That's solid, dude. It's fucking hard because they're all great. And to go back to the Dark Ages album, I have a lot of friends and some of my friends who follow me on Instagram. They all love that album because that album means a lot to them as well. Being sort of in that thrashy era. Um, Babylon is another great riff too, man. Very tribal, soulfly-ish, you know what I mean? But they're all great. Every single album is all great, man. So
Man, I
yeah,
hope we get
well,
to bust Babylon out on the next run. We're gonna be busting some songs out on the gwar run, and I think we've done Babylon before live. I know I've learned it. I think we've done it
yeah.
live. Yeah, we've played it live. It'd be cool to bring that one back, man. That's a great tune.
Well, I'm not asking for much, but the next time we do come down to Australia, please add that to the set list.
You got it. I'll mention it for sure. You got it, man.
Yeah, like it's like I'm cool with everything in that, but if Babylon and probably Ritual or something like that comes on the set list, and thanks, dude.
You got it, brother. I remember those
well,
tunes.
well, dude, thank you so much. This is I know I said 40 to an hour, but we went a little bit over because we got sidetracked talking about gear shit. But no, I really appreciate you, man. This is really fun. Like I could just talk to you for hours and shit like that, man. Appreciate you,
I
man.
No problem, man. I try to be easygoing all the time. Just I tell
Same.
everybody I try to be easygoing, and my saying, my little quote is go with the flow, man. Just that's how I like to be. Just go with the flow, easy going. And before we go, I just want to say thanks again for having me on the podcast. To whoever watches this, thank y'all so much. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again. Let's do it again. Let's talk more metal and more horror movies next time. And thank you
Yeah,
so
one
much,
hundred
Adam.
percent. Well, yeah, dude. Like what I always say to my guests, you're a part of the podcast now, so I classify you as a friend, and you're now a victim on the podcast, my friends. There you go. You're on the list.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. So, you'll be out on tour. What next month was it?
Yeah, we'll be out
Soon.
in the starting March 19th, crisscrossing all the way to the US and ending at the end of April. It's like 6 weeks, us and Gwar and King Parrot. If uh
Hell yeah,
if you're in the area and you want to get some blood on you, come out to a show. Not real blood, but come out to a
yeah,
show and get in the pit, as Max would say, man. And it's gonna be a fun night and a good time, a great show, man.
yeah. So you'll be on tour next month with Gwar, King Parrot, and stuff. I'll be going to see Anthrax next month, so I can't wait for that.
Enjoy the
I
pit.
will. I do at my old age. I think I still got it.
Nice. I try to sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you very much. I'll put all the links in the description area where they can find you, and I put like all like the musical project stuff in there as well, so they can go check it out. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel because that will mean a lot. And go and check out all the past episodes that I've done. Until next time, guys, I see you all again soon. So peace out, everyone.